President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's unofficial campaign on behalf of the ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party, ahead of the June 7 general election seems to consistently engage several talking points that are high on scaremongering and low on substance. One phrase he often repeats is the superior mind, an awkward and ambiguous term he invented last year, which was later picked by his associates in government and in the pro-government media. He claims this powerful authority is bent on undermining the rise of a potentially great Turkish power under the stewardship of the AK Party. He has never explicitly disclosed who the partners in the superior mind are, but Erdoğan's associates explain this in detail in rallies, interviews, and in coffeehouse conversations, while pro-Erdoğan media run fabricated stories listing the usual suspects as part of the conspiracy. In one example, earlier this week the pro-Erdoğan Guns Daily published a chart highlighting the US Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, the German intelligence service der Bundesnachrichtendienst, BND, and the Israeli intelligence agency, Mossad, as the key components of the superior mind that advises all the major opposition parties, civil society groups and even terror groups on how to wage their campaigns against the AK Party. As usual, no evidence was offered to back up these far-fetched claims. Another issue Erdoğan raises at rallies is his desire to see Turkey move toward an executive presidential system, giving up the parliamentary system that has been in place for decades. He has called on supporters in rallies across Turkey to vote for the ruling party, without explicitly stating its name, urging them to help him become an executive president. Many AK Party voters are not in favor of this bid, to say nothing of the opposition. Erdoğan also likes to rehash old claims of a coup, in order to provoke fear among voters and prevent them from defecting from the ranks of the ruling party. Since the nation's history has been troubled by several military coups that are not very popular among the people, Erdoğan has always been quick to label any sign of trouble an attempted coup, in order to discredit the opposition, dismiss criticism, and stifle dissent. He describes both the anti-government Gezi Park protests that took place around the country in the summer of 2013 and the major corruption investigations that implicated him and his family members in December 2013 as attempts at a coup during his time as prime minister. Erdoğan also claims critical headlines in major national dailies such as Zaman and Hürriyet, or those in international publications such as the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, are sinister efforts to oust him from the power. He viciously targets these media outlets in campaign speeches and interviews by singling out their owners, affiliates, advertisers, and even readers for derision. The critical and independent media, in Erdoğan's mind, is nothing but a part of conspiratorial group that harbors ill will toward the country. An influential Turkish Islamic scholar, Fethullah Gülen, who inspired the Civic Gülen, or Hizmet, movement, is constantly vilified by Erdoğan, who claims the Muslim cleric was behind the corruption probe that went public on December 17, 2013. Erdoğan and the AK Party government responded to the probe by launching a battle against the movement, accusing it of forming a parallel state that aims to topple the government. Gülen and leaders of the movement strongly deny the charges, and the government has failed to present any evidence of the movement's involvement in the corruption investigation. Erdoğan later accused the movement of being a terrorist organization, despite a complete lack of any evidence substantiating such a claim, and no courts have supported his claims. Targeting major opposition parties with baseless accusations, slander, and lies is also part of Erdoğan's campaigning. He has prompted criticism for abusing religious symbols in the name of politics, most recently by waving a copy of the Quran while addressing crowds at rallies, and by blasting main opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu for his perceived lack of piety. Erdoğan has also called him a traitor and has accused him of working closely with the enemies of Turkey. The same smear campaign has been conducted against the Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, and the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, HDP, associating them with terror groups. Erdoğan's harsh condemnation of business groups critical of the government also figures in the narrative of his campaign. He has repeatedly lambasted the prominent Turkish Industrialists and Businessmen's Association, SAD, even calling its former head a traitor, and has threatened the current head, implying that she has skeletons in her closet, after Mossad warned that foreign investment would not come to a country suffering from increasing authoritarianism. The Turkish Confederation of Businessmen and Industrialists, TUSKN, the largest business advocacy group that specializes in small and medium-sized enterprises, has also been caught in the crosshairs of Erdoğan's campaign. Lawyers, prosecutors, and judges who uphold the rule of law and advocate an independent and impartial judiciary were not spared from vitriolic condemnation in speeches Erdoğan has delivered on the campaign trail. Acting as the chief judge, the prosecutor, and even the executioner, Erdoğan has even disclosed in advance the sham judicial investigations and court proceedings initiated against his critics and opponents.